Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Children of Primus Frenzy Freestyle Sundays, where this week everyone's a bit scattered around, so I will start off the show. Fear or Courage was at one of the conventions earlier today, so he will be on shortly, and our other member, he's actually stuck in traffic because it was the Blue Jays game, which I believe they're in the playoffs right now. So traffic in the downtown part of the city is a mess, so to say. And a professor, he is in a different city tonight, so he will only be joining us in the comments section. So anytime he's ready, just drop the word. And yes, okay, Blue Jays, as said by Professor D. Um, so other than that, lots of news to share, but I will wait for Fear and Courage to come on, and then we will jump on a few topics this week.
Hello.
There we are. Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, shout out to Kingdom Commander Rodimus Prime's box for propping up my laptop a little bit higher every week since I got it.
There's always like that one item in the house. I'm like, it looks just about the right size to prop up for whatever is needed at that moment.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. So to recap to the audience, I'm a mess. I was at the '80s Toy Expo all day. I got up at the crack of dawn to go there, and I interacted with like a million people. So physically, mentally, it's been a day. Yeah. It's been a good day though. Also, today is my birthday. I turned 33 years old.
33. Nice.
Yeah. And I managed to spend it doing a thing that I enjoy that I haven't gotten to in a very long time.
Well, that's the ultimate birthday package.
Oh, yeah.
Doing what you love, and then with people that you love, and you can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, really. Like, it was great. I tried taking some video of my setup, sent it to you guys in the Facebook chat. The audio turned out to be terrible when I listened back, so but it's just me like narrating crappily over it, so you're not missing much.
That's cool. I mean, we could we can play it back and narrate. You can narrate what's happening shortly.
Yeah.
Well, how many people did show up today?
A lot. Let me tell you, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because it's the first one back from the pandemic, but people were like hungry, I guess. I sold a ton of things, much more than I was expecting to sell. I wish I'd brought more stuff with me.
Nice.
What they did was for pandemic stuff was they spaced it out between two halls. Usually they just, for the smaller conventions, they just do one hall. But no, so they opened two halls, and yeah, a lot of people showed up. So
okay, cool.
Makes me feel good about TFCon in December, but I'm also just like, what am I gonna sell? I got pretty cleaned out. Hey, what's up, Calvin?
Hey, Calvin, how's it going? And thank you for joining us once again. Well, I mean, as a vendor, that's never that's always a good thing, just haul whatever you're trying to sell, and then at the end of the day, like, there's nothing left to bring back.
Yeah. I came there with 3 boxes. I left with 2, which is better than it sounds because there was some big things.
Okay.
Though I will say, well, I guess I technically qualify as a vendor. This is just me buying and selling chunks of my personal collection. So I think there is like a finite limit to how much stuff I can bring with me.
Right.
So, this is going to see diminishing returns at some point, but we're not quite there yet.
Well, I mean, when is the next convention? Is December?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in between. I might be wrong. It's already October. I don't think there's anything else in between.
Right. And I mean, December is a bit of that's between December to like February is one of that time frame that's a little bit tricky, where it's like everyone's either busy for the holidays or they're slightly somewhat broke, where if it were January, February, for sure everyone would be like, now I have no money for anything.
Yeah. choking on my water.
Oh, oh dear. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me bring up one of the first videos and see if we
Yeah.
can play that and and let us know what is happening.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let me. Yeah. Don't even bother with the volume because my narrating stunk. This is about like an hour before the show starts. This is me setting up, and you can see
Okay.
all the comic book boarded stuff I did. And there's the loose figures, which I stuck price tags all on them. And then there's some of the boxed stuff I was selling.
Nice.
And nobody else had shown up yet. And there's Jess. she 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 was there all day for support. I appreciated that. And this is
Nice.
just me looking at the rest of the. This is just one of the 2 dealer rooms. A lot of people hadn't set up yet. This is about an hour before the show, which
Okay.
surprised me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask like around what time that was.
Yeah. Show opened at 10. I was there at 8, and this was me at like 9 in the morning after having spent about an hour getting my stuff in, getting my passes, getting everything laid out. I hadn't stuck price tags on anything, but I was doing that as I was going.
Okay. I know. I would say fortunate that it's a smaller scale event because when I used to work for a sports store, and we did the convention center and one other place, and basically half the staff in the store had to go the night before to do most of the setup, and then the rest like I think we got there about 5 or 6 in the morning, and it's just a truckload of sports equipment and all sorts of things that we were selling at these conventions.
Yeah, I've done setups like that because I've done Fan Expo before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very much like that.
Like I said, one cool thing with one of the events was is I was the DJ for one of them, so I didn't have to deal with the large size setup and just mostly like setting up what it like my equipment. But I mean, I don't think people realize the amount of work that goes into setting up everything.
Yeah. Okay, so this was like right as the show was getting started.
Okay.
I didn't get any good real shots of the hall like a smart person, but it had filled up with a lot more people, with a lot more vendors. And like there's my table companion, Andrew Chow. He set his stuff up too.
Okay.
And yeah, this is just that was just my setup, my like full setup.
Cool. And I mean most convention centers or like hotel convention rooms are usually similar.
Yeah, but you saw people brought like shelves and stuff too.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah.
Let's go to the final one.
Yeah. Well, this was the end of the day after I gotten like cleaned out and I was noticeably burned out. That's the one where you really couldn't hear me because like everybody was still talking because the hall was buzzing with people.
Okay. There we go.
Noticeably fewer things. Surprisingly, not a lot of a lot of the big box things got bought up. Like Andrew's stuff had a lot less space on it, and they were busy packing up. And
well, I guess what price ranges were you kind of working with?
Pretty all over the place. The most expensive thing I had for sale retailed for $130. And the cheapest thing was, I think, like I don't know, $15, something like that.
What? Cool. What sold for $150?
Fans Toys Hoodlum. That's the third-party Masterpiece hot rod.
Okay, nice.
Somebody had actually reserved that before the show started because I posted a thread on cybertron.ca saying, "Here's what I'm bringing to the show," and somebody messaged me like, "Can you hold on to that till I get there? Here's my number."
Okay, cool.
And then I don't remember whatever. I couldn't tell you what the cheapest thing is there. Oh, I think it's McDonald's Beast Machines Rat Trap. I think I sold it for like $10.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is a small, like I said, I wish I'd brought more because I had no idea what the scope of this was. This was just half a table because Andrew there had done the other half, and you saw his was crammed full of boxes.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, considering like I have clients that also do events in hotels and everything. and some of them have switched to the online version of just doing online parts of their business,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the restrictions to venues kind of, it almost doesn't make it worth it for them to have an event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still fortunate that you guys had like you had the ability to have that much foot traffic coming through today.
Yeah, well, like there were, I don't know, they had a whole, they did a lot of things like that, but like, I know they had like hard limits on how many people were allowed into each part of the place. I didn't
Okay.
like, I was inside most of the time, so uh, I didn't really observe most of these procedures. But like, I
Right.
knew there was a guy I needed to bother about something. He was like, "Oh, don't bother me, I'm counting people." And he was clicking a thing.
Just getting paid to click the heads coming in and leaving.
Yeah. That's the dream. Yeah, and also this was strictly buying and selling, because usually these conventions, like even these little ones, they have like a couple guests, maybe a panel or two. This was just merchandise, presumably because this is the first one back, and they didn't have anything going for them yet.
Right. Um, well, I guess for one question, of the people buying and selling, do you know of them also buying and, or I guess whoever's buying stuff from you, do you know that like they would go and then sell them elsewhere? Or are they actually just buying to collect them?
I got the impression that these are just collectors that want stuff. Like
Okay.
they're not going buying things to flip them. I
Okay.
that's just I don't know. There's no science behind that. This is just me talking to people and stuff as I go. People just
Mhm.
getting things because they want to get things. I got some stuff, but I can show it off later. um, yeah, but like um, yeah, no, they're not into the buying and selling, and like I'm not about that either. Like I may be here vending, but I'm not very much like I don't keep things in box. I keep the boxes sometimes, and that's why I had boxed things to sell.
Got it.
Um, I'm just like I check what the things are going for on the market, but I try to be like decent with the prices and not like super high. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, oh, this is an important one. I think I only got taken up on this once or twice. But if like any little kids come by and they want stuff, I give them 50% off everything there.
Nice.
Like little kids, like sub 10 year olds or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
I think I sold a couple things to a couple kids. Because I'm like, that's important. That's an investment in the future of the hobby.
Exactly, because I
Yeah,
mean, like we're here today because of maybe because of that, like 30, 40 years ago.
yeah. I mean, thus far, and I say this living in Canada where the people are generally nice, I have never noticed anybody attempting to get their kid to buy like a masterpiece figure to get it for half off. That's never happened.
They know better. It was like,
Yeah,
buy you this 150 figure and then by tomorrow that gets shattered everywhere.
yeah, 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 yeah. Me, let me show off the stuff I got. It's not all Transformers, but it's some interesting things. The one big indulgence, because this was they did jack up the price on this, is I got me a Netflix Soundwave.
Okay, nice.
Uh, this was like it's my birthday. I did well. I'm gonna treat myself to this.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah. And part of the reason that I got him was because I managed to find the last set of cassettes that I was missing. Ever have a problem with collection creep? Ooh. I can talk about that maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a Rumble and Rap Bat forum. Uh,
Okay.
Non-Transformer stuff. I got another real cheap Power of the Force Star Wars figure. It's
Mm,
episode 4 Luke. These guys are like $5 a pop. They were big when I was a kid. This is
okay.
a subsumed childhood nostalgia. Yeah.
Of course.
And I don't think anybody in the audience does any Common Rider stuff. I'm a little bit into it. I watched a lot of shows during the pandemic. I got a few little Common Rider figures. It's the got the original guy, Common Rider Kuga. Uh,
Okay. I don't know Kamen Rider.
yeah, it's like a live action. It's like pretty much a live action fighting anime, just with people. You
Oh,
know,
okay, cool.
it's like it's like Power Rangers, but pitched towards an older audience. That is how
Got
I
it.
describe it.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh, and my booth mate there, Andrew Chow, who I'll give a shout out to, saw it was my birthday, so he gave me a Power of the Prime's bludgeon just as a little
Nice.
gift. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so collection creep. How do I define that? I mean, I guess it's the idea of getting one thing and wanting to get more things. And I'm like, I could see that being the thing. I mean, there's this Common Rider thing. The first show that I watched, I got a couple of little, because these are little guys like this big. I got a couple figures from it, and I was like, well, now I want to get more of them. Or
Okay.
like, there's me getting Netflix Soundwave because I got all of his cassettes. So I'm like, I got to get the guy that goes with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing. Like, you're not gonna get. There's series that I get in for just like one-off figure, but like, if I get into like Siege or Earthrise or something, suddenly I want like a bunch of stuff from that line. So yeah, that's certainly a real thing.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of this is subsumed by me selling things off at these conventions.
Yes.
They're in the same universe as Power Rangers. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, they're in the same universe as Super Sentai, which is the Japan Power Rangers. And then in America, they tried to bring Kamen Rider over once as the Masked Rider, and it crossed over with Power Rangers, and it was not great. I'm not going to turn this into tokusatsu, which is what this stuff is called, is like a rabbit hole that I do not want to drag you guys down.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
And I didn't, only because I wasn't into Power Rangers as much at the time. 'Cause I remember, I think it was the later years of high school, but I remember the younger children in the daycares and everything were fully into Power Rangers. And at the time, I perceived Power Rangers as more like a live version of Voltron. So it's just I didn't have the time or the interest to get into it, so I didn't realize that there was the different universes of Power Rangers, where you just kind of think of certain shows like, well, these characters or this show just exist in this universe, but they don't cross over to anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they do that in like Japan all the time. They just like do big Avengers type. They do like mad movies, like just
Oh yeah,
like one a year for each franchise. But yeah,
that nice. Yeah, a lot of countries are like that too. Like their movie industries are huge. And people, you would say on this side of the world, have no idea how popular certain characters or franchises are.
oh god, yeah. Well, the thing about like the Kamen Rider movies is when I say they do a movie, really they're just like, let's make an hour and a half long episode of the show with maybe like 2% more budget, and that's about it. That's what, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nice Netflix Soundwave pay. I got one online. I've never seen it at any Walmart. I've never seen it at all until the convention, and only one guy had it. Let me tell you something about like picking up collecting here. So this guy I paid like a fair penny for, right? Because I'm like, I'm never gonna see it in stores. Can't
Right.
get it online because of Walmart's just terrible at online stuff. The window has passed 100%, right? Now, meanwhile, there's a new version of Ravage coming out in Kingdom there, like the Beast Wars
Right.
version of Ravage.
Right.
It's the deluxe figure and also a G1 reissue in the same box. It's going to cost like $70 something at like GameStop.
Okay.
And there were people at the convention who had just gotten it because it just kind of just started trickling out in Canada, and they were selling it for like double the retail price, just straight up. And I was like, see, no, I'm gonna find that eventually at regular retail price. I think 70 is a bit. I think it's less than that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna find it at retail, so I'm not paying the convention tax on that. I'll pay the
Right.
convention tax on something weird that I'm never gonna see. But
No, exactly.
yeah. this is the problem with tired me. I'm going to be very scattered. I'm just telling you that right now.
It's okay.
Yeah. I was a high schooler who was into Power Rangers. They pretty much filled the void left by G1 Transformers for me. Look into Kamen Rider then. It is grown up Power Rangers. Well, grown up. It's still like it's just still marketed to like kids, but we're talking like My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball Z type stuff. More so.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the old ones, like the very first '70s show was just like a straight up like dark horror thing. I watched. I haven't finished. I watched like the first maybe third of it, and I was like, Jesus, this was marketed to kids. People are dying, and there's blood, and there's terrifying monsters, and it's got like the tone of a horror movie because it's
Yeah,
about a guy. Yeah, it's about a guy that gets kidnapped by an occult organization and then gets like changed into a cyborg against his will, and he's like, "You're gonna fight for us," and he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna break out and I'm gonna fight your monsters, even though I'm a monster myself now." It's dark.
that is dark.
Yeah.
Again, the cultural differences. It's like certain things. But I mean, with anything, like even things that were allowed in like the 70s and 80s. I'd say like by the mid 90s, then they started putting the suggested age to watch it and parental guidance and everything, and I'm like there was like those those never existed when we were younger, like things marketed for children. Like now it's like how did they get away with that then?
Yeah. Definitely. But I will say the new stuff's still like a lot more like it ain't Power Ranger stuff. It's just a lot better than that. It's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what you can graduate to. Why am I still talking about this? I said I wasn't going to drag nobody down in this rabbit hole. This is entirely because a Discord I'm a part of had like a large contingent of people that were into this, and then I just kind of started paying attention to it too.
Okay. Well, speaking of other rabbit holes, then, some weekly news.
Oh yeah, this guy's fully funded. I'm gonna be real. I decided not to go in on him because ultimately I'm just not that big of a fan of the character, and this is like an expensive thing. But if you dig it, more power to you. He looks pretty great for what he is. Just a little bit too rich for my blood for what he is. But yeah, he's funded, and apparently they haven't even hit the like Japan bump yet.
Okay.
If anybody's gonna love Star Saber, it's Japan.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah. So now people are just looking at what stretch goals they're going to hit, because they're probably going to hit all of them. Like one of them's for an extra gun. One of them's for a stand and some effect parts. Another one is for a couple of Micromaster repaints that are other characters from the Victory anime that they're just thrown in.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy's like not even like Unicron was borderline. There was a good period there where it looked like it wasn't getting it funded. This guy just.
Well, there was one post which I'm surprised that it didn't pick up on our website, was I believe Fortress Maximus.
That giant guy.
Yeah, I think was it like 5 feet? Like
basically they said
it's like the size of like any of our small children.
Yeah, they're just selling the head separately right now. Its name is Hannibal for some reason.
Yeah, why?
That's its fake name. That's its third-party name.
Okay.
I maybe it's an allusion to something. I don't know. I just think about the Sir Anthony Hopkins there being, in that movie.
Funny, I hear Hannibal, I think of the A-Team.
Oh yeah. God, maybe it is. I want to know what their process is, because like that makes I don't know.
Well, I mean, considering they're only selling the head, because then now, which head, as in Spike or Cerebro?
Cerebro, so like a full guy basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember speculating this. I wonder if they're going to release this in chunks or something, because there was I had them a few years ago. There was a Kabaya Fortress Maximus model kit that they did. Really nice. It was it made like a deluxe Transformer size version of him, but you bought it in chunks, in like 3 boxes, And so they made it so that it was G1 accurate, like it transformed the same in everything despite the small size. But they
Okay.
made it so that these three chunks each also changed into a base on their own.
Okay.
Uh, and I was like, I wonder if they're going to do that with this guy, sell them in chunks and make them like separate base forms.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I know why they're selling it in chunks, because nobody wants to take that direct financial and physical hit and look it right in the eyes and contemplate their life choices right before them. You space that
Exactly.
out, you can get more people to buy into it.
Yeah, with many things, they're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, this is like, a huge collection, this and that." I'm like, no one can afford to just, get
Yeah.
all of these things at once.
Yeah. Which, and on top of that, I hate to say it, third party in general, that might not get released. That's how that game goes.
Hmm. Say good evening to Robert.
Oh, probably because Hannibal rode an elephant over the Alps, and elephants are very big. That might be it. I saw it and I was like, isn't there a historical Hannibal or something? And that's probably what it was. They're just being way more intelligent than I am right now, which is not much because my brain is fried. Yeah. I think Power Rangers is using Transformers Headmasters trait as of now. Yeah, well, because Hasbro owns them now, Power Rangers, right? They bought it, the franchise, and
Interesting.
they have John Warden, who did who's the main Transformers guy for a few years there. He did like Power of the Primes and Siege and Earthrise, like he was their director or whatever. I don't know what they call it.
Hmm.
The guy running the show.
Right.
He left and moved over to Power Rangers when Hasbro bought it. So I've heard that they're making Power Rangers mecha now that are like have Transformers level engineering in them. I can't speak to this. I don't pay enough attention, but that's the scuttlebutt. I've heard their new ones are pretty good because I got the Transformers guy on them. Because
Oh,
I know,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, because I'm like back in the day, the ones that Bandai made, they looked nice, but they were like G1 levels of like no articulation, chunks of plastic, and this was in like the mid '90s, so
Right.
this
Right.
was right in the middle of ball joint articulation central over in Transformers land.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say with Hasbro buying them out, like for sure, there's gonna be like all types of crossovers about to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I people are like, God, it's only a matter of time till they do Power Rangers X Transformers. That's
Hmm.
they're both. There's no reason why they can't now. It's the same. The same company owns them. They make all these other collaboratives happen that are owned by different companies.
Right. This is
Yeah,
true.
yeah. There's a famous bootleg version of the Dinobot Combiner Volcanicus floating around, and it's in Power Rangers colors already. So people are like, just make that legit.
Nice. Okay.
like Grimlock's the red T-Rex now instead. Yeah. I'm gonna say TF Collect independently research that, because I don't think I'm blowing smoke, but there's a chance I'm blowing smoke because I don't go to that franchise. But I know John Warden's working on it. That part's 100% true.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta pick this up. My local comic book shop's holding it for me because I just go there and pick stuff up off my pull list.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the Halloween special. This is real interesting because this is set right in the middle of the John Barber 2000, the John Barber main IDW comic that's going right now. I can't
Okay.
talk words. Like the main Transformers book, the one that was rebooted a couple years ago and is like the main one. Yeah, this is set in that. Yeah, because they just finished issue number 30, ended on like a big conclusion because it was like the end of a story arc. The first
Okay.
story arc took them 30 issues and 2 years to get it wrapped up. um,
Nice.
and then there was like a time skip. They said 40 cycles, but I don't remember how much a cycle is. I'm just gonna say 40 days later,
Okay.
and they've just picked up with a here we are now thing because now the war is kicked off in earnest. It's a little bit like Siege, but like better.
Okay.
Because now we're at that point, sort of, but we saw how we got there instead of just starting there. And yeah, the Halloween special is like set during that gap, and
Okay.
it involves Starscream and organic stuff that he hates. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I just gotta pick it up and read it.
Starscream and organic stuff. That just that sounds funny.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody reading this should read that comic. It's not. Everybody should check it out. It's harder science fiction than most Transformers stuff because the guy that's writing it is like a fantasy novelist. So
Okay.
that first volume is called "The World in Your Eyes," and it's by Brian Ruckley.
Okay.
What was the headline here?
Let's see. This one is.
Oh yeah. This is just what I
the
was
Canadian
talking about.
sighting. Right.
Yeah, Ravage, Pulse-Con Deluxe covered Agent Ravage at EB Games. What's called GameStop now because as of very recently, as I've said
Right.
before. Yeah, I think according because I was looking at the forums on Cybertron.ca. I think what happened was they put it out on shelves and then it got like taken off shelves again because it was supposed to be street dated to like the end of October.
Oh.
So like there was a few of them out there that people got, and then they were trying to flip them at the show I was just at for like double the price.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I said, like I really as the Beast Wars fan in me, like I'm like I really want to get this thing, but like I'm willing to wait till it just shows up through the normal channels.
Well, with those street date mistakes, that just seem to be happening more and more of in the last, I'd say in the last year or so. Usually, what's the time frame? Like, say if something were like say you see something in a store today, but they're like, well, we're not allowed to sell it. Is it usually for like a week or two? Because that's almost a month difference.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never encountered that myself. But I've heard stories of people scanning things and being like, "We're not allowed to sell that yet," but it's always like a couple weeks. Yeah, street dates tend to only be a thing for like the debut of a new line or an exclusive like this. Like Kingdom Wave 1 would have a street date, but like they wouldn't bother with the other waves.
Right.
In this case, I think it's because like in America they're selling it with PulseCon or something, so they were trying to hold it off till that.
Okay.
It's just like it's their online convention they're doing. And it's supposed to be exclusive to that, so they just didn't want it out until it was like happening, I think.
They tried.
Listen, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Don't trust me. Maybe a little bit, but not entirely.
Not entirely.
Yeah, not entirely.
Well, this will be one of those episodes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, that Masterpiece Raiden that they teased is finally starting to show up. Mm-hmm. Just one of the train bots here. This is going to be insane. This is a Masterpiece Combiner. The first time they've ever officially done one.
Nice.
People don't know what this MPG thing stands for because it hasn't been fully announced. People think it stands for Masterpiece Gatai because Gatai is like what they call combiners in Japan, or combining. So MPG, yeah.
I guess funny, I've never heard of Gatai because I know the word before was how was it pronounced? The Gestalts?
Gestalt, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a German word that that means some psychological term for combined consciousness.
Yeah. Interesting. I never knew that was a German word because that's and until the term combiners came around, that's what anyone that I knew pronounced it that way, which only 2 or 3 people used that word back then.
Yeah, that came out of the fandom. That wasn't an official thing. I think it's been used officially these days. Evening, Bill. I think it's been used officially nowadays, but that was a fan term. But yeah, Gatai is just like, when they're doing their super robot business in Japan, that's what they'll say before they combine.
Right, okay.
I might even be pronouncing it wrong. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm not a native Japanese speaker. I don't know the language at all.
German pronunciation.
Gestalt. Oh, yeah. That's probably right.
Interesting.
Did I mention I'm not a native German speaker either? Yeah. That's going to be real interesting because it's going to be huge. It'll be interesting because they already, the third party's been making Masterpiece scale combiners for ages. So it'll be interesting to see what an official one looks like. But we just got our first view.
Yes. All right, let's see, and a few more news, and then we'll do a brief review on your reviews.
Yeah. Yeah. Rhinox sweep and street dated pulse con ravage. Oof. Yeah. I have Rhinox on order. He'll get here eventually.
Okay.
Sweep. Like they. Let me tell you, they were selling sweeps at the convention. Good, decent prices too. Like
Mhm.
some people were overcharging, some people were just charging retail. But like I just left them because I was like, I just pick that up later. When I go to a convention, I'm going to buy things. I'm just going to buy stuff that I can't get on the shelves.
Right.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, the sweep is just a bluer version of Scourge, designed to look a bit more like the toy and a bit less like the animation model.
Right. I
Um,
remember that. Like now there's that distinction between the two, as opposed to like back in the day, just buy a whole bunch of scourges and take
yeah,
off the headlight part, and like those are your sweeps.
yeah. 'Cause, like in the fiction, they generally look the same, so they just
Mhm.
took this opportunity when they were putting the sweep out to just change the hue on the blue a little bit to more towards the toy. And
Right.
I missed out on Scourge. I never got around to him, and he seems to be gone from the shelf. So I'm just gonna get this guy instead because I kind of like the blue better than the lavender. So I'm like, this is just gonna be my Scourge, you know? Yeah, can't get hardly anything from the shelves in Central U.S. Yeah, God, I've heard. I wish y'all had a thing as reliable as the Canadian version of EB/GameStop because that's been serving me pretty well.
It's almost a nightmare in terms of just anyone being able to find things at anywhere. And
Yeah, this is why y'all Americans should get stuff from Hasbro Pulse. I would, but the shipping is moiter. Um, but like you guys, yeah, that's a pretty good source of stuff. Like I used to like to buy online. Now I'm like, just I'll save myself the hassle, get it there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I appreciate having a physical difference between Scourge and Sweeps twice. Yeah, I think it's clever because it lets people like me just pick and choose which blue they like better, and it lets you have a dedicated troop builder. Oh yeah, this guy. This was Friday's review. Siege Deluxe Red Alert. Already been supplanted by the Kingdom one, but I wanted to have a look back at the old one.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is because of end up with a Scourge. I bought 4 because I didn't know about sweeps. I appreciate it, but I think I'm just going to get a sweep locally. I appreciate it though, Bill. Just I legitimately like the more blue, even if it's not strictly animation accurate. It's G1 animation was often not accurate, so
Yeah, I mean, especially when we get into season 3, that's an episode of itself.
oh yeah, I will tell you in advance. I like season three's ambition. I wish that it didn't have the reputation for being the worst animated one because I liked all the things they tried to do.
Mhm.
But yeah, we can make a topic out of that. I could talk about that. It's been a while since I
Yeah.
watched it, but I remember it pretty well.
Well, and I
Uh,
mean, part of it was yeah, that one studio that basically no one's able to find
Acon, right?
where where a lot of the mistakes came from.
Yeah. Should recommend to the audience go read my Kingdom Rodimus Prime review because not only did I talk about the figure, but like I kind of went on a bit of a rant in several places about how I liked the season 3 version of the character and how he's a little underrepresented and how interesting the whole thing was. And, it's forward to the topic.
Well, yeah, that's actually going to be like a topic. I don't recall if I had mentioned it last week or the week before, but next week
Yeah.
will be the similarities of Hot Rod, or kind of the conversation of Hot Rod to Rodimus, and Lionel from when he was a child to becoming the adult. Whereas
Oh,
in both cases, you're taking like a young adolescent and changing them to an adult within a few minutes, but then putting them in the middle of a conflict, and then also giving them a team to lead. never having been a leader or an adult in any situation, and
Oh, God.
now they're the leader of everything.
Gosh, that's interesting. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know anything about. Well, I don't know. I've never watched any Thundercats. I know about the premise and stuff through internet pop culture osmosis, as
Mhm.
most people do. I was like, so I know nothing about one half of the topic and a lot about the other half of the topic because me and Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime.
Well, I mean, I haven't watched Thundercats since I guess when would that have been, like, 85, because they came on around the same time when Transformers um became the after school show. So it was between Thundercats, Transformers, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Um so it would be cool to go back and watch the series again.
Hmm.
But I at the time I've forgotten that basically when they left the planet of Thundera, Panthro, Chitara, Chitara, Tigra, and everyone else were already grown. But Lionel was I believe either a young child or still a baby at the time. And whatever conversion happened, he then also became an adult and and the leader of the Thundercats.
Yeah.
Um, mhm.
That is interesting because it is like the exact same Hot Rod Rodimus Prime situation. You got a
Exactly.
teenager who just got like age juiced up to an adult.
Yeah. So it's a to turn Hot Rod into an adult like instantly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in the middle of a like a war and a disaster in a sense. He has his own questions that are left unanswered, while basically the fans are asking questions we can't get any answers to.
Can I just say, I love the head sculpt on this figure. That's not G1 cartoon accurate, but it communicates. That's somebody who's gone through it, and I love it for that. This
There's been
person,
so many jokes on that.
yeah, this is a person who stopped giving a damn like 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I Yeah. Thundercats was the second best show on TV after Transformers G1. Voltron's number three. I'm sure it was. I haven't watched it. It was if they'd rerun it in the '90s like they did with Transformers, I'd have opinions, but it was a little before my time.
I wouldn't be surprised if whichever studio was responsible for Thundercats, if they at some point don't jump on the bandwagon that Hasbro's been doing of
Mhm.
re-releasing everything. Because
Yeah,
I think the other day I just realized like Hasbro released like all the GI Joe on their website.
yeah, it's the best way to do it. Just straight up out there where anybody can see. Like
Hmm.
I randomly, just because I was curious, I watched the first episode of the vintage Masters of the Universe cartoon like during the week, and they just got it up there legally too, like on their channel.
Nice.
I'm just, yeah, I'm just like that's the way to do it, Just put it out there.
It
Uh,
is. I mean, it's in this day and age, in a sense, restricting things or just not making it accessible. Like, just put it out there. Like the amount of views, like they've already got thousands of views, people talking and sharing it. Like that's how you revigorate um a franchise where it's like
mhm.
anyone who's new into it, like it's easily accessible for them to get into it now.
Yeah. Um, it's funny because the G1 thing, because I have the Shout Factory versions, which are like the versions to have in terms of video and audio quality.
Okay.
Because like the Rhino releases added sound effects that weren't originally there, and thanks
Hmm.
to using earlier masters, have animation errors that weren't there in the final. Um, so I used to on the Transformers Wiki Discord, which is a great place to join. It's huge and crowded now, but
Okay.
a lot of great stuff there. For a while, we were screening episodes of the G1 cartoon,
Nice.
and I sourced it for them. I copied my discs onto a server, and we were watching my copies, and like that. it wasn't difficult, but it was very time consuming because it would take a
Mhm.
lot of time to copy each disc and all the episodes and upload them.
Yep.
And I just do it in the background while I was working, and like it was like probably like a good couple months worth of effort. And
It's true.
now they just got them on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
I was fair for the time, but I'm like, Jesus, I did all that for nothing?
Yeah, but between what did I have? Like all of Transformers, all of Knight Rider, like just all sorts of shows and everything, and like
Yeah,
the time taken, and weeks and months, and like now it's just free online, just click and just watch it.
yeah. I mean, I'm just being grumpy about it. Good that it's just legitimately freely up there for anybody that wants to watch it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. To Bill's question, why didn't Wily Kit and Wily Cat also grow? Something I always wondered.
I'm gonna
Um,
leave that to you because I don't know what that means.
Well, Wily Kit within the actually, let me see if I can find a picture of the Thundercats. Um, Wily Kit and Wily Cat were like the kids of the crew.
Hmm.
So again, not having watched it for like many years, Lionel was the chosen one, where why he ended up growing.
Yeah.
So I mean, almost in a sense of like you the similarities would be like say in Transformers, like you have like say Wheelie and Bumblebee, they could have been considered the kids of the Autobots,
Yeah.
but they chose Hot Rod. So Hot Rod's the one to grow up and become the leader. You still have the kids under that leadership.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh boy. I'll tell everybody right now. Usually I have a review up on Monday. It's not gonna be ready tomorrow.
It's okay.
It's gonna be up on like Tuesday. 'Cause I'm like 80% there, but that extra 20% I just do not have the spoons for. I did. I just some of it's point form. I took all the pictures. Just gotta upload it and make the writing eloquent.
You know what? Sometimes it's just one of those weeks,
Yeah.
weekends. Like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, so it's because today was the convention. Yesterday was preparing for the convention. The day
Yep.
before that was preparing for the convention. I was preparing for the convention for a while. Oh yeah, there they are. So what is going on with that woman's eyes?
Yeah, it's not the best. Although this is probably a screenshot of the cartoon.
Oof, oof. That's rough. I know. I know she don't look like that normally. I've seen these guys before.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
there you have Tigra to the far left, Panthro. Panthro, who was actually voiced by um, I believe his name was Earl. He played Grandpa Cosby in the Cosby Show.
mean,
Yeah, I never knew that till 2 years later. Then in the center you have Lionel. To the right is Chitara.
yeah,
Um, I don't recall which of the kids were which, so I'm guessing Wily Kit is the left and Wily Cat is the right.
sounds right.
Yeah, and then there's Snarf, who was kind of like their guardian slash babysitter, the sidekick, comedy sidekick of the show.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the time when they left Thundera, so again, it's like leaving a planet in the middle of like whatever chaos is happening or going to blow up. So just like Transformers leaving Cybertron, Superman leaving Krypton,
Yeah.
Lionel with the crew left as a kid. Um, so I have to go back and watch that episode to remember why what happened for him to become the leader when he like after they left the planet.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like yeah, and I say this with the utmost respect. It's the '80s cartoon formula. They had a formula. This was it. You can do great things with that formula. Formulas ain't bad. listen to
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know how this story goes. I've heard it
And,
told. I've heard it told several different ways.
yeah, and it's and funny, like funny enough, not until really sitting down and analyzing stuff, or through the whole pandemic and rewatching things, I'm like, wait a second, Hollywood has used this formula, multiple times, in multiple shows, like just like with Knight Rider and with Kid and Car, and then for Star Trek with Data and Lore, it's the identical storyline all over again.
Yeah. The evil duplicate is a tale as old as time.
Yeah. All right, so let us go to our main topic for the evening, which I believe I have the flyer here.
Oh yeah, let's see.
I believe I do. If not, you know what? I can go in the folder since I actually saved it on this computer this week. There we go.
Transformers collections. Love looking at collections. Inspired by collections. Hate us. Jealous by collections. We'll look at some more tech specs. Oof. Gosh. What a set of questions. Yeah. I I I do like looking at other people's collections. I like being like, I know that I've have way too much of my brain dedicated to this. So I'll look at a picture and like, can I ID everything in that image? Not
Yes.
that image. That's way too small. But
Not
you know
that
what I mean?
one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Inspired by collections. Oof. I mean, I'm always like, I have a certain upper limit because I have time, space, cash, But I look at
Mm-hmm.
these big things and I'm like, that's impressive. I'm glad that person was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, which I guess I would direct this to Bill. Because within, yeah, I guess to Bill, like how is the room coming along that you're building for the collection?
Oh yeah, didn't he
Um,
get his stuff almost wiped out by like a tree or something?
yeah, so it's that one unfortunate thing, as much time and money and and everything you put into a collection, there's
Hmm.
always those little things. I mean, it could be major that you have to watch out for, that could create a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I think in one group, someone had mentioned moving the glass case, and like a lot of their collection like falling and breaking and stuff,
Oh yeah.
and I think only one person was brave enough to ask, like, why would you still have your figures, standing while trying to move the case? Like, it's like that was just waiting for it to fall apart.
I mean, I understand where that man is coming from because if I had to move that bookshelf behind me, I know in my heart that I need to take everything down,
But you
but
don't
that's
want
a
to.
hell of a task. I
Yeah.
probably will, but
Hmm.
like I could see myself just getting frustrated enough to like push it and knock everything over and I'd be like, I deserve this. I had this coming.
It's
My
true.
hubris.
All of us. I think all of us have had that same mindset of
Yeah.
you don't want to take it all apart, but it has to be done.
Yeah. Bill, the collection room saying is getting finished and painted this week, so we're going to start the rebuild after. Good. I'm glad
Hmm.
everything turned out okay for you. Yeah, I
Good
got
news.
I got very lucky recently. I keep all my loose boxes in a specific place. I've said this before. I don't keep all my boxes, just like the special ones.
Right.
Um, and I had a issue where the AC wasn't running on one of the most humid days of the year, so our
Oh.
floors in my living space got all like damp. Like
Okay.
for a while, I thought we
Oh.
had leaks, but like because I live in the basement half of a house and I got a tile floor, so it turns out when it's really humid, that cool tile floor meets the humid air, it makes things condense.
Yes.
Um, so I was like mopping water up all over the place, and I was like, "Oh God, did these boxes get water damaged?" They did not, fortunately, but it was like so close, and I was like, "That's how it happens."
Yes. And I guess with all that condensation, any like mold issues or to
No,
worry about?
no, I hope not. I took some bleach to like all the corners of the house. So
Okay.
this was a few months ago. This was in the summer. I think I'm fine. Otherwise, I would have something would have manifested by now.
There you go. You can't display in cheap cabinets and also talk to your insurance company. I have 250,000 policy on my collection.
Oof. Okay, so that's some next level stuff. I don't have my things insured. Uh, I, gosh, should I do that? I don't know. I mean, I'm not collecting masterpieces. I'm just collecting mainline stuff, and it all goes in and out the door pretty often. I wonder how that works because I'm like, my collection is not very static, right? Um,
Right.
I bring in things, I sell things. Can you insure something when it's like fluid like that? I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
that's an
I
interesting.
believe so, because I mean, shipment companies, shipment companies like the like Canada Post, or anything like there's insurance, I guess, within the time that it's within your care, um, and until you sell it or get rid of it, like it's insured within that time frame.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I still don't know if I'm gonna do that just because I 1,600 plus pieces. Oof, yeah, yeah. I haven't done a tally, but I don't have that much. I guarantee I ain't hitting four digits. Three digits almost definitely, but like low three digits. Uh yeah, okay, that's worth insuring. See, that's the type of collection I'd like looking at because that's probably pretty extensive.
Mm. I say too bad that D wasn't in the episode. So I mean, unless we slightly carry some of this into next week.
Mm,
Um, but I know for myself, looking at like all the collections that people have in recent years and everything, it's different seeing where people are focused on their collection. Where for myself, and I mean for you and many others, like our collection was basically what we started off with as children. So the word collection wasn't, we never thought of it as such a word. As just like, well, here's my toys. I really like these toys, and I keep them around.
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder when one changed from the other because I'm like definitely like I was in and out of the game a few times in my life, but like I didn't like sell everything off. There was
Hmm.
But it's a ship of Theseus thing because like I don't have much of anything from my childhood. I have a couple of things down on my G2 shelf and a couple
Okay.
of vintage Beast Wars guys here. So I guess there is some continuity, but like yeah, there would be. I got a couple of Beast Wars basics that survived and a couple of G2 things that survived and yeah, well, that is interesting. I wonder when it became a collection and less of a thing I played around with. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty yeah, go ahead.
it's a certain point when it happens, but you're not focused on it because I mean, as life you start working, everything else gets hectic. So you build a shelf for it, and it's like, well, here's my collection, but you're still not mentally thinking of it as a collection.
Yeah.
As a in the collector mindset of the word. Um, because I know for myself, like a few children around had like the odd maybe two, three, or four transformers where it's like because I was more into it, like everyone knew of me having transformers, and it's like I was always just adding to my collection, so to speak. But there were two other guys that I knew from junior high. Yeah, only from junior high because they one of them actually moved before high school, and the other one, I think he ended up going to a different high school, and they were the only two people I knew that also had an extensive collection of Transformers. Um, so I think by the time I was an adult, if you counted like all the pieces individually, let's say if you counted like a combiner, like for each five characters, five or six, I think I was up to about maybe 250, Transformers, but between like all the combiners, Autobots, Decepticons, and just everything I collected over the years. Um, so I know Professor D also had a collection as well. Um, and only until when we were working together that like eBay came around that we started to like in our spare time like check out eBay for a few figures. We had a studio downtown and a toy store just happened to move beside us, and that was right around the time when the first set of reissues came out. So I know he bought a few alternators, but I got a few reissues of things that I missed. I think Smokescreen was one, Jazz, yeah, and like a few other figures, and then like that original Unicron came out around then too. So in my studio, I had like everything set up on the shelf, so everyone would come by and they'd be like, "Ooh, like I've never seen a Transformer collection like this huge," because everyone would say either I've sold it or lost it or my parents gave this stuff away. So it was just always cool to hold on to onto all of those figures and just have them nicely displayed on the shelf. But now it's like decades later, I'm seeing like all these like extensive shelves, LED lights, elaborate displays, and now we've got Bill where it's like him and along with many others building rooms in their houses, or even moving into a whole nother house to build a room for that collection. Whereas like I think out of like my extensive collection, like one really long shelf or maybe two shelves is the most I had, but not an entire room. Like that's when you go the difference of like, these are toys I grew up with. I really love them and I hold on to them to like, well, now I'm a collector and I'm collecting this line, that line, these exclusives, just anything that's that they can get that they can hold on to that's going to be worth something one day.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. It's funny because you talked about the reissues and the alternators. That was the era where I was just getting out of things the first time.
Okay.
I think I didn't start having a collection until I got back into it in 2007. Because before that, I just kept everything in a bin and took it out to mess around with it. But then, when I started buying, like I started buying 2007 movie things. That's what brought me back into it. That's when I would keep them on my desk. So that was the first display I had.
Nice.
I just yeah. That's probably where it began. Oh, I've never done any kind of elaborate display like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, like as I slowly kind of get back into everything, like like I would be considering like building a shelf and I mean like now LED lights you can easily get them for like for like 10, 20, $30, like the entire strips. Cause like even my daughter's rooms, like they've bought their own LED strips, so it's like the entire ceiling, the perimeter of the ceiling just has like LED lights across their computer desk. Whereas like that just never existed when I was their age.
Oh yeah. God, I still kind of envy that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Transformers makes up the majority of my collection too. Begun collecting some Power Rangers, Thundercats, TMT, DC, Marvel, Star Wars. Yeah, that's me. Like 90% of this is Transformers. That's just the thing I'm into. It's funny that I showed off so many non-Transformers things that I got at this because it's like a minority. Like I was talking about Kamen Rider. I got no Kamen Rider stuff. I just have like a couple other of these little figures, and that's it. And then I just have a little tiny corner that's Star Wars figures, and then I have one shelf of Nintendo stuff. It's like
nice.
Metroid, Splatoon, Mario, that kind of thing. A lot of
nice.
figments.
The original ones.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda, that too. And it's just like one shelf, and then everything else is robots.
It happens because I mean, no one's really into just one thing. Because I remember in my collection, like I had I don't even remember where I got him, but I had like the original Snake Eyes. So it's just he looked cool, so he was on the shelf. I had like 2 or 3 GoBots that looked nice. They were on the shelf. And then it's like I've seen that question before. It's like what cartoon was like your main go-to cartoon back in the day, and like we loved all the cartoons. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't, you had the one you loved, like Transformers, but like we watched all of them. We enjoyed everything.
Yeah, maybe Beast Wars is probably my favorite, but I dare say I watched a lot of G1, or rather the G2 reruns, but it was the fact that it continued into Beast Wars, and Beast
Hmm.
Wars was like really good that actually kept me in the franchise.
Yeah.
If it had just been G1, it probably would have been another thing I watched when I was a kid. Um,
Okay.
it was the fact that it kept going that kept me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do Amazon Overflow return stores where you live? I don't think so. I've never seen
I
or heard of one. Like if
not
you're
sure
talking
of that
physical,
either.
yeah, I don't recall ever seeing a physical store. So like it's not in my area. Mm.
I'm just waiting for the day when they start delivering things using drones. And if you're not satisfied, like the drone shows back up, at your front door, you just give it the box and it flies off.
Yeah. Well, let me. Speaking of non-Transformers things, I'm gonna go on record. Favorite non-Transformers thing I have is a Nintendo thing. It's there we go. I wish the resolution wasn't so crappy. So this is the Figma, which is like a high-end figure of Samus Aran from Metroid Prime 3, which is like my favorite game franchise. And
Mm.
the new one's coming out on Friday, Metroid Dread on the Switch. So I'm super hyped for that.
Yeah, I think
First game in a, is yeah.
nice. I think the last time I played Metroid was like the original one.
Yeah. Like this is like the perfect version of the character, and it's super posable and stuff too. And I'm like, this is my favorite non-Transformer thing. They just did it right,
Hmm.
It's
Cool.
like it was like mad expensive, but like you saw where the money is going. It's like masterpiece Samus basically.
Nice.
Yeah. That's like the pinnacle of it. Everything else is Transformer stuff. And that's just because that's just from a game series I like. So
Hmm. Bill picked up his LEDs. They're for $1 each.
yeah, gosh, I should do something like that. I mean, just because of the way things are laid out, I'm not a bright light up here, and I rely on my lamps. This is a little bit of a bat cave, so LEDs could just generally help my living situation in this room here out.
I hear that.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not getting these to light up my collection. I'm just getting them to live better.
Yes.
There you go. Write it off. It doesn't need writing off. That's not how any of this works.
Well, it's interesting. Because when I spoke to Mike earlier, in terms of the collections, I know with the different Facebook groups, some of them do have like their restrictions in terms of, if the group is focused on like G1, and you go posting like a masterpiece figure in there, like, then you would expect like, some sort of conflict to happen. But in some groups, they're like, well, we just love Transformers, like,
Mm-hmm.
post any timeline, whichever figure it is. And even within those groups, someone will just come along and be like, well, I hate your collection, or my collection's better than yours. I'm like, but why? Like, why are we putting that negative energy towards
Yeah.
someone who's collecting?
But better than that, why would anybody hate somebody else's collection unless they just want it? But the way you're saying it suggests there's something about it that they dislike. I don't get that. Maybe if I'm trying to come up with hypotheticals in my head. Maybe if somebody was hoarding all of something, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, other than the internet just being a wild place, like in any forum or any social platform, you're always going to have some sort of troll that's just a troublemaker for the sake of. But I mean, but then there are the other collectors where, like, well, I only collect the MPs, so like,
Mm-hmm.
just G1, it just stinks. It's blocky and this and that, and it's like I don't want anything to do with the G1s or G2s or any earlier MPs. Like, I'm just all about this line.
You don't like You don't need that negative energy in your life, man. Life's too
Mhm.
short. I'm not just saying this because I turned 33 and I'm introspective now, but I there's so many things in life that you have to do that you don't enjoy.
Mhm.
Stuff like this is supposed to be like stuff you do enjoy. So like if you don't like it, find something that actually brings you enjoyment because life is too short to be having it be such a source of negative energy in your life. I sound more zen than I actually am.
It's true. It's completely
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I'm like it's like, please find your happiness, uh, for your sake and for the sake of the people around you,
Yeah. As
so we don't
Robert
have
said,
to.
maybe if
Yeah.
someone only collected Action Masters.
Hey, those things are neat. I don't have any, but they're neat. I like the fact that they just did everybody in this nice little uniform scale with they're just like the reaction figures they do now, basically, but like probably better value for the money because they were like sturdier and came with little transforming guys.
Well, I was gonna say the one thing that no one speaks about, like, or very rarely, or I guess doesn't want to admit to it, is are the pretenders.
Which I just got that one of because somebody gifted me it because I wanted one. Yeah, Bludgeon. He's like the default pretender. If you're ever gonna think of one, it's probably him because of
That's
the
funny.
Marvel comics. Yeah. Oh yeah, here he is. Uh, the Skeleman. I
Hmm.
bet he only started appearing in animation recently, and he didn't even have a voice. He was silent. That was his thing because he was in Cyberverse. Um,
Oh, okay.
but he's talked in other media, and you cannot tell me. Oh God, he's too blurry here. But like, oh, there you can see his face in the art. You cannot tell
Yes.
me that this man does not sound like Skeletor.
Wow. I mean, I mean that's kind of the idea you get when you first see him. And it's like I have to go back and reread the later part of the comics.
Yeah,
It's just between him and I think it was like Thunderwing and a few other characters when they were searching like for the Matrix quest, and it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
this whole new line of Decepticons just showed up in the storyline. But there weren't any like new Autobots that showed up.
Yeah.
So it's like I never knew exactly where these Decepticons came from.
Yeah. Well, the answer was they were like, "We got new toys. Just put them in there. Just put them in there." That's
Yep,
how it went, right?
that
This
is how it went.
Yeah, and Bludgeon's one of those guys. Got the original Furman bump, as it was called, because this was Simon Furman writing it, and he would just pick guys at random and be like, "This guy's going to be important. This random small pretender from the second wave, which is Bludgeon, is going to be important to this story for no reason." And
Okay,
so I'm going to make him popular, and suddenly he's the one with the aftermarket value and getting the updates and things. That was the Furman bump. And I mean, it still happens. It's just other authors do that now.
right.
Um, though a lot of times they will new versions of figures into existence. Road Rage, the red version of Tracks,
Hmm.
s- showed up in the new Brian Ruckley stuff for IDW because
Okay.
people joke he just hits random on the Transformers wiki. That's the joke when he comes to picking characters because he's got some weird pulls, and she started being like important, and now we're getting a figure of her in Kingdom, and the lead time is such that he definitely didn't know about that. So people are like, "Well, he's started using her, and now she got a new figure."
Why not?
Yeah. What was my point? I don't know. Scattered.
Yeah, it's still a long day.
Bring me home. Bring me back on track here.
Yeah. Let's see. Saturday. So Bill says Saturday and Sunday everything is $5. Then Monday it drops to 3. Tuesday 2. Wednesday 1. Thursday 50 cents. Friday 25 cents. And
Everything.
by Friday
Mistake.
it has been picked over pretty hard, and new stuff on Saturday and Sunday starts over again. So I'm
Oh
guessing this is in the overflow return store that you were mentioning.
boy, what a weird way to. Huh. Gosh, what a weird like lottery system based thing.
It
Um.
is. It's just a way to just get rid of stuff quickly.
Yeah, Fun Pub, the botcon people, they did that when they were going out of business, when they were losing the license there. Because they were like, not to that extent, but like it was the same idea where it was like, we're gonna post here's our big final sale. Here's everything that's left on the club store.
Mhm.
Every week we're gonna cut prices more and more and more until we lose the license. But once something's gone, it's gone because we're going out of business. So people
Right.
were just watching things and be waiting until they got low enough to make it worth it. I'll tell you, yeah, lots of yard sales in this area. Yeah, speaking of pretenders, you know how Fun Pub did giant double-sized double pretenders there, right near the end of their run. They did Optimus and Megatron.
Okay.
Yeah, and those were real cool. And I watched those, and they got sold out before I got to them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was a real cool idea that they did. Because they did a Pretender Optimus Prime and a Pretender Megatron. And the Optimus was a new Pretender shell they'd made, and the Megatron was a Grand Maximus's Pretender shell dug out of storage and repainted.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a clever idea of theirs.
Well, I mean, I was surprised as the. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen the Optimus and a Megatron Pretender. Just for the fact of like no one really spoke about Pretenders.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a quick picture of both of them if I can.
Okay. Now I know out of the multiple groups, there was one group I don't recall the name, but a lot of the members share images of their collections, um, and it's quite impressive. I mean, almost similar to the image used for this week's flyer. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, and in terms of like yeah, collections that people have put together, like it is very impressive. Um, and then I've seen one collection, and again, it opens up the door to all sorts of jokes where some people, right, and I believe TF Collect actually had kind of hinted on this question in terms of collections where people take their figures out to put on shelves or collect to just keep the figure in the box. So
Yeah.
basically, just buying it to stay mint sealed in the box forever, or do you actually buy it because you want to actually transform it and put it on a shelf?
Yeah, I mean, I got no disrespect to those guys, but that's not how I interact with the franchise. I take everything out and
Mhm.
transform it. I keep it on my desk and mess around with it and put it back on the shelf and then take something else down and do that. And that's just what I do. And I think Transformers is unique in that you kind of got to do that because if you're keeping it in the box, you're getting like 50% of the product at best. Like, uh, like a regular action figure, I could sort of understand. Like, uh, I'm also like the Power of the Force Luke I got. Like I am gonna take it out of the box, but I could see somebody keeping it in the box because I'm like, look, that's it. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You, that's what you're getting. You can keep it in there if you want, but like this guy, like Bludgeon, he got a weapon mode, and the little guy transforms and fits inside. I'm like, I'm not getting the whole deal here, you know?
Yeah, like you want to take them out the box and transform them.
Yeah,
So I mean that kind of goes into that mindset, or into that conversation of is someone into collecting just for the sake of collecting, or are they actually into Transformers, where
yeah,
someone who's actually into it, they'll want to open the box and play with the toys, whereas like the other kind of collectors, like you know in a sense they're only collecting for the sake of like the value of the item, and
yeah.
and a plan to resell in like 5-10 years from now.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of buying things just to resell. I don't know. It's always rubbed me the wrong way. So what I want to know is, like these gray generation selects boxes. Is there anybody buying these and keeping them mint in box? Because I'm paying like $40 for a brown cardboard box. Like if you're not
Mhm.
opening it, there may be a figure in here. I don't know. I'm not opening it. I don't want to demint it. You can't even see.
And again, only because I'm old school with my G1 figures. What was the whole concept of those boxes? Like, I mean, it from my perspective, it almost seems like things where it's like you almost like a Jack in the Box type surprise type thing. Like you buy this box and just like you have no idea what transformer you're getting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they all have a little label on the base that says what's in them, so it's
Okay.
not a mystery. The deal with these is it's kind of weird because they were supposed to be like online only. You just get them through like Hasbro Pulse, and they'd mail them to you. So that's why they just did these boxes for them, right? Uh, they just, especially, they just tend to like Toys R Us and GameStop started carrying them too. So sometimes you'd see them on shelves, which is weird because I'm
Mhm.
like, who nobody's like I've seen these at like EB Games. I'm like, I guess you got to tilt it and look and see who's there. And I guess you have to be a collector who already knows what this is, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's because they just assumed people were going to be buying them online, so they were like, let's not waste money on fancy packaging if it's not going to be on a shelf.
And I mean, it's what would be the word for it? Not a disconnect, but I mean, disheartening in a sense where Transformers classically, you bought it for the box art and everything with it. So it to just come in like this brown cardboard box, like you're missing half of the, like you said, like half of buying it is like that part of the purchase is gone. Like you've lost it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
this,
okay, well, yeah, like great, I've got the figure, but I don't have any of the artwork to go with it.
yeah, this you don't even have that because you don't even have the figure. It's just nothing here.
So I don't get that then.
Yeah, I me neither. But if that's what makes you happy,
Yeah.
just find your happiness.
Well, I guess I would put that out there for everyone watching. What's your what is your collection mindset? Do you collect? Because I mean, I guess some people may also be on both sides, where some may collect to have their figures on the shelf, but there may be a certain line where like they buy them specifically to keep them in the box. But like anything else is like, well, no, I bought these because I want to see them on the shelf.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, put in the comments section like exactly like are you the one to save everything in the box, put it on the shelf, or maybe both?
I'm just and like those Star Wars Power of the Force guys, like you can make some cool looking walls just hanging those. So
Hmm.
that's why I don't really understand collecting other toys I can't really be played with. Yeah, looking at you, McFarlane stuff from before they started having posable figures. I mean, they're good now. Like their DC stuff looks nice, but like there's that period there where they were basically just like statues with like 2, 3 joints in them. At that point, just buy a statue, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the statues. Yeah, the statues. I guess look cool, but again, it's like if it's meant to transform in a sense, like I don't want it to just be in this mode. Um, but then there's certain irony to that. Like there's some figures like when I had them on the shelf, like they're in their robot form for like 20 plus years. Like I've never transformed them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had a few of those. One of the reasons I sold Hoodlum was because I never transformed it in the couple of years since I got it. Like I did it a couple times for review and then never again because it was such a pain.
Mhm.
So I was like, that's not even fulfilling its purpose. So out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I haven't transformed Magic Square Optimus in a while. But I ain't selling him because he's just over there being a big, happy, chunky cartoon Optimus. So
Well, I mean, seeing the what was it, the stop motion the stop motion videos of Optimus and a few others where they show it like scene by scene of like each transformation. I'm like, there was about like 50 steps, and we still like that was just the arm.
Oh God, yeah. I bought a large collection of G1 toys in the mid-90s, many of them in sealed boxes, which I then opened up and played with. If I'd known how many re-releases were coming, I probably would have left them sealed. Gosh, that's interesting, because I'm like, I can understand somebody keeping a G1 vintage thing mint and just getting a reissue to mess around with, because that's like good enough, you know?
Mhm.
Like if somebody really wants to keep those in the box to accumulate value or whatever, but like goes and gets one of like the Walmart re-releases to mess around with, I'm like that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, Bill
Early
says,
morning tomorrow, mates.
mhm.
Talking with you again. Good night. Good night, Bill.
Yes, good night, Bill, and thank you once again for joining us.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stick it out to the end, but I'm also like fading fast, so I'm not gonna leave you hanging, bro.
All right, I know. Hopefully Mike will be able to jump in it soon. Yeah, he's stranded within the downtown traffic. I
Good
know it's
lord.
between the Blue Jays game, regular traffic, and I know the main like the Young Subway line. Was under like they were doing their weekend maintenance, so they're just running shuttle buses. So I know just passing through there yesterday, like the one section that would take maybe 5-10 minutes to go down was at least about 45 to 50 minutes. So I mean that's without a Blue Jays game happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I ran into some of that on the way back home from the convention too. I was fine in an early Sunday morning. Nobody was driving nowhere, but like
Mhm.
on the way back, yeah, I was hitting traffic real serious.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're kind of lucky to have been able to bypass that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it would have. I mean, I'm guessing you went across a QEW or 401.
401, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. If it was further down, like for sure you would have been like tied in with all of that downtown traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm used to it though. I've gone back and forth to that convention enough times in my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I know it by heart, but like I definitely recognize when it's time to come and go.
Yes. Yeah. You when you understand the city and the highways, like by a certain time, like just you either you either have to leave or know when to do bypass on certain routes.
Sorry, my cat was knocking over boxes.
Oh.
I'm not gonna bother. Hello. Uh, oof, okay. Yeah. It's sorry. Topic. Feed me something.
Well, I was gonna say, what? Jump into some more of the tech specs. So let me,
Oh, hey, yeah.
yeah, let me track down some of them. I didn't have those open.
Hmm.
Well, I know. Last week, one of the comments he was requesting going through some of the combiner tech specs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
let's.
look who's here. The pep.
There you go. So now you just need catnip.
Mm. Premium cat content.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hello. Say hi, Pep. Yeah, no, she purred. She just likes being tall. That's why she always gets up on my shoulder. Yes, everything you survey is your domain.
Yes.
That's right. Hello.
The Pride Land.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's start off with Defensor.
Mm-hmm. Hello. Hi, this is what the internet likes, right?
Yes.
Defensor. All right, I guess. I guess these would have only we would have only been able to see these tech specs if you bought those box sets, right?
That is true. Yeah, because they wouldn't. Yeah, if you bought them as individuals, you wouldn't have seen these tech specs.
Yeah. Yeah. Defensor, Allegiance, Autobot, Subgroup, Protectobot, Function, Super Warrior. I wonder what the other combiners' functions are. We'll put a pin in that. Like, are they all
Yeah.
Super Warriors? Okay. As long as only one innocent is being threatened, none are truly free. How very Optimus-like of him.
Hmm.
Views humans as if they were his own children, will expend his last drop of fuel to protect them. Seeks human friendship, but humans fear his hulking mechanical form. Can lift 300,000 pounds with one hand. Impervious to most artillery. Can surround himself with force field for brief periods. Carries fireball cannon. Shoots 2,000-degree bursts of blue fire 1.5 miles. See, again, this is one of those things where, like, they didn't. I don't remember most of this ever making it into, like, the show. Like, wanting human friendship, humans being afraid of him. I do remember
Hmm.
he uses, like, force field shield, though. Like, that was
Yes,
cool.
I was going to point that out. That's the one thing that did carry into the show.
Yeah. It's we're basically looking at Bob Budiansky making Bibles for each character, and then the writers could pick out whatever they had space to use.
Hmm.
So that's what these are really, just like potential plot points should the writers ever want to use them.
Well, let's go to Superion and see what
Yeah.
they say about him.
Is he still a
If
super warrior?
if all of them are super warriors.
Air warrior. Yeah, Superion function air warrior. To live is to fight. To die is to stop. That's very menacing.
Yes.
A fierce and frightful fighting machine. Suppresses thought of 5 area bots that comprise him. Directs his thinking to one purpose: destruction of Decepticons. Cold and aloof. Flies at 800 miles per hour. Range 58,000 miles. Can demolish a battleship with one blow. Uses electrostatic discharger rifle. Difficult for him to adapt to new situations or be innovative due to limited mental functions.
Ooh.
Huh. I remember that being a thing on the show because he talked like a Dinobot.
Yeah, and I see one comment somewhere where it's like, why did all the combiners, the cities and bases, except for Omega, it's like all of them had like that real, slow, grainy voice to them. Whereas like Omega's the only large transformer who didn't speak that way, and then but then you have Unicron, who's the size of a planet, and he didn't sound anything like any of these guys.
Yeah, I think it's just because they're like combinations of people. They're supposed to be like hulking, brutish, dull, giant warriors.
Hmm.
This gives them more personality than they had on the show, though. I'll say that.
Yes. Yeah, and I never knew that he was I mean, almost he's more of a dangerous character than what the show portrayed him as.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then in that sense, if we're still going with the Autobots, let's go with let's see if they have one for Computron.
Mm-hmm. Function warrior. Complete data analysis is essential for the synthesis of successful strategy. He always makes the right choice, but takes several minutes to make it since he first completely analyzes input from the 5 technobots who comprise him. Has great strength, equipped with data processing, communications, and radar equipment. Uses Scattershot's automatic acid pellet gun. Chooses his words with great care and precision. When Computron talks, everyone listens. They did that on the show too, where he'd just like talk over what he was doing and then do it.
Yeah.
I like that his speed is 2 as a result.
Well, I think Superion, either Superion or Defensor speed was also 2.
Yeah,
Um,
Defensors was also 2, yeah.
but it seems as if these later characters, they actually were able to incorporate their personalities into the shows. Whereas like the original line, whatever was written, it's just luck if any of that bio appeared, any of those characteristics appeared in any of the episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's also interesting that they're like he uses Scattershot's gun because like so many combiners did that. So it's interesting that they'd call it out.
Yeah,
Like they,
because the blue
yeah,
gun from for Defensor is actually Hotspot's gun.
yeah, yeah. It's just neat that they wouldn't pretend it was something else and just be like, yeah, he's using the same weapon as the leader.
Yep.
Yeah. This was before Bruticus was retooled into Ruination. He could combine his guns.
Ruination. I always like just the word alone. Ruination.
Yeah,
Just it just has this ring to it.
yeah, because they retooled all the weapons he came with so that they had extra pegs on them, so you could fit them together into two big like combo guns for the combiner.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Um. So and I know the one debate like months ago was in terms of combiners, um, which ones had a sixth personality or which ones only had the combined personality.
Oh, I mean, if you go by the G1 cartoon, up until season 3, they all had a sixth personality, and it was Dinobot style. You know, slow speaking guys.
Well, I mean, I would say Minosaur wouldn't wouldn't have had a sixth personality, and partly because of why he was mentally unstable.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think that's why they got the name Gestalt because it's like a psychology thing for a combined for like the parts that make up a consciousness
Hmm.
or something.
Yeah, whereas I think Defensor has a sixth personality, and Superion, but yeah, definitely not and Computron, especially when they first introduced him. He answers in a sense he answered to the protect to the Technobots.
Hmm.
Well, let's see. Now we've done the Autobots. Let's go to the Decepticons. Um, and the classic Devastator.
Oh yeah, the original hulking brute from which they all thinking and winning. Oh, his function is just warrior. Oh, sorry. What was Scattershot's function? I mean, Computron's function. I didn't
Uh,
even. Can
you know what?
yeah, just click it
Uh,
back and check. Oh, just warrior again.
Interesting.
What makes him a warrior and what makes Defensor a super warrior? This guy's
Hmm.
also just a warrior. They're just being. They're not even looking like their job is to punch things.
That's basically it.
Yeah. Thinking and winning do not mix. Awesome and terrifying. A bizarre combination of six Constructicons. Scrapper, Scavenger, et al. Pure
Hmm.
brutality. Sole purpose is to crush all in his path. His mind is a melding together of his six parts, but limited by their competing thoughts. There's your answer with him.
Yeah.
Enormous height, incredible strength, can knock down a bridge with one punch, has 10,000 degrees Celsius solar energy beam rifle. Slow, awkward, not too bright. So this is every combiner, basically. His speed is one.
His speed is one, intelligence two.
Yeah.
And then it's like looking in all the different groups and everyone talking about like who their favorite combiner was, or Devastator versus this person, and only after rewatching the entire series I'm like, Devastator didn't win a single battle
Oh
ever.
yeah.
Like he lost to the Dinobots, lost to a like Carly used his foot as a ramp.
It,
He lost to Rumble and Frenzy to like every combiner fighting him. He's never won anything.
yeah, and like his debut episode, which you're supposed to plug the new guy, is when he gets distracted by a hologram and then disassembled in one shot.
Hmm.
Though I do find interesting that his bio is like, "This is the first combiner." So instead of talking, let's spend most of this explaining what a combiner is and how it works, and
Yep.
then those later guys that came later spend more time on their characters. Where this is a combiner. They have combined personalities. They can crush things. They're really strong.
Hmm.
This is more like exposition.
Well, I mean, even right from his statement, like thinking and winning do not mix. So
Hmm.
like that's what were they thinking when they wrote that? In a sense, like he doesn't win anything.
Because he doesn't think, so he never wins.
Well, let's go to Minosaur next in the line.
I'll catch a lot of flack, but he's my least favorite combiner.
Oh, okay.
Ever liked him. I just thought his design was always really like weird and bland. But I know he's got fans out there, so I mean, he's like the number one third-party combiner. Everybody wants to make him.
I'm surprised. Like Bruticus, I mean, for myself, Defensor was my favorite, and then Bruticus. But I mean, a lot of the third-party designs have done a way better job with him than the G1 figures that we had.
Yeah, all right. Menosaur, again, he's a super warrior, not a regular warrior, a super warrior.
Super warrior.
Yeah, leave no Autobot uncrushed. A clanking, crushing terror that destroys all in his path. The ultimate Decepticon weapon if he wasn't so confused by the opposing thoughts of the 5 Stunticons who comprise him. Motormaster is loathed by the other 4. Tremendous strength. His punch has the force of 140 tons. Impervious to most artillery. Uses Motormaster's Cyclone gun and carries an ionizer sword with a 50,000 volt charge. That's another thing that made it into fiction. The fact that he's a jumble of personalities that don't like each other.
Mm-hmm. Every Decepticon has to lose.
Even the big brutes, yeah. I've always liked the Decepticon combiners more, but I've always accepted they never win because of this rule. My top 3, Menosaur, Devastator, and Predaking. No love for Bruticus, eh? But I think he was only my favorite because I have strong memories of his episodes in the G1 cartoon from when I was a kid. Because he put up an interesting showing.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, oh, that's a heck of a quote. He's again just a normal warrior and not a super warrior. What is this? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good quote. Listen to this. The road to conquest is paved with Autobot wrecks. What
nice.
A boast. Bruticus transforms into the 5 Combaticons. Oh, it's the other way around, eh?
It is.
He can destroy his enemies with ultrasonic waves and smash metal bridges with a single chop of his hand. Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded? Like nothing more than destroying Autobots. Once he starts running wild, he is unstoppable. Has small brain circuits, making him simple-minded. This is the best bio. Carries a sonic stun gun and a missile cannon. His speed is also 1.
Wow.
This is a weird one. First of all, they're like, they don't make him. He makes 5 guys. And then and then they're like, he's got a tiny brain.
I'm surprised his speed is only 1, though.
Yeah. He's got a helicopter on his arm. That doesn't count for anything.
Yep. Well, let's see. And so after Bruticus is then Predaking.
I always remember when he first appeared in the Starscream's Brigade. Starscream called him Baruticus.
Yes. All right, where are you? Where are you, Predaking?
Oh, up there, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Predaking, warrior. Destroy first, ask questions later. Him and Devastator must get along.
Which I think there's a few tech specs they repeat. There's quotes that get repeated.
Yeah. The closest thing to a perfect fighting machine that the Decepticons have. Oof. As a warrior, he has no equal. As a weapon, he has no restraints. I need like Lawrence Fishburne to read this.
That would be nice.
Yeah. His actions result from seemingly savage animal instinct. Can lift 500 tons. Reacts to any movement he sees within 0.002 seconds. Can generate a protective energy field. Wields powerful X-ray laser cannon. Each foot houses twin mortar shell launchers. No known weaknesses. They're just like, this guy is OP.
Mm-hmm.
This must be why people liked him. He had such a bio who's like, this guy is the best guy. Nobody can beat this guy.
Yeah, no one.
Also, his speed is a broken image, so either he's really slow or really fast. His speed is so fast that it can't even. It's
No,
off the charts.
it's off the charts.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'd say before going to Abominus, now I'm thinking of Skylings because I remember in the toy, Skylings was supposed to be the rival to Predaking.
Oh, really? Huh. Oh, yeah, because they were in a commercial or something, right?
Yeah. Where is he? Where is he? There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Predaking's only weakness is Skylings, according to the TF Collect.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Okay, function Lieutenant Commander. Oh, so he's high ranking specifically. The
Mm-hmm.
best achievements are worth repeating. A powerful fighter, self centered and boastful. Yep, got it in the second line.
Yeah.
Fearless, daring, believes himself to be superior to many of his fellow Autobots. Shell resistant and steel reinforced hull can withstand enemy bombardment and extreme temperature variations. Possesses solar powered auxiliary engines. Acetylene blaster inside cockpit shoots 3,000-degree flames. As a space shuttle, has interplanetary travel capabilities. Maximum speed 30,000 mph, range 40 million miles. Oof.
40 million
Yeah.
miles.
The back half of this is just big numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah. His stats are better than Predaking's, I'll say that.
this is true.
But then again, they did pretty much like explained all of uh, all of his personality in that first half. So they were like, just throw some big numbers.
Yep.
We need more. We need to fill more space.
Yep. The Captain Modesty.
Yeah, Captain Honesty.
All right. Well, let's go to Abominus and see
Abo
what.
minus. Function Gestalt Warrior. Hey. I thought that
Interesting.
wasn't official.
Yeah.
Abominus. Abominus transforms into the five Terracons. Again, there we go. Has
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming destructive power. Likes attacking large or moving objects, climbing tall buildings, and sinking ships. He's every giant monster.
Yes.
Actually, that's thematically good. He is
Yep.
made out of five monsters. Okay. Has no heart/soul and is nothing more than a killing machine. Abominus carries a sonic concussion blaster, whatever that means.
That's
They're
it.
just like he is a universal monster.
Like that. That's all we're saying about him. Like nothing
Mhm.
else. Well, let's see. What other Transformers should we go through?
Hmm. Uh, that's a good question. Ooh.
Let's see.
Um,
Ape Face. Let's try him because I know the Horicons they really never got a lot of play in the early days.
Function Saboteur. Obnoxiousness is not a problem, it is an art. Thoroughly obnoxious. Pounds loudly on his chest plates, insults everyone he talks to, knocks over anyone in his way, never changes his lubricant so he smells like a grease encrusted tube worm, and
Oh
spits fuel in public. Wow, this guy sucks.
yes,
Binary bonded to the nervous, insecure Nebulan Spasma. In jet mode, maximum speed 3250 mph, emits powerful jamming frequencies. In ape mode, has super ability. What super ability? Just super ability.
that's a super ability.
In robot mode, carries electro shield and semi-automatic sonic boomer gun. That's
A
what you
boomer
call a
gun.
very old Sonic fan. Sonic boomer.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. So, a footnote: Ape Faces Official tech spec ratings show above are actually duplicated from Snapdragon's tech specs. Ape Face's built-in tech specs meter indicates that he should actually have a strength of 9 and intelligence of 5 and a speed of 7, though it's quite possible that the rest of the stats should be different as well.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been errors like that. People always said Starscream and Skywarp's numbers were switched around.
Interesting. Okay.
Because like Starscream had really low intelligence and Skywarp had really high intelligence when it's supposed to be the other way, something like that.
I mean, I could see that because Starscream is intelligent.
Yeah.
Which we didn't do Starscream the last time, did we?
No, we didn't.
Well, let's see what Screamer is saying. Official and corrected.
Oh yeah, that's probably what they're talking about, right?
Okay.
Conquest is made from the ashes of one's enemies, says the air commander. Seeks to replace Megatron as leader. Oh, just right at the gate. Ruthless, cold-blooded, cruel. Considers himself the most sophisticated and handsome of the Decepticons.
Handsome.
Believe Decepticons should rely more on guile and speed rather than brute force to defeat Autobots. So a Street Fighter and a Keanu Reeves movie. Guile and speed. Fastest flyer of the group. Can reach Mach 2.8 at an altitude of 52 miles. Shoots cluster bombs and null rays, which disrupt the flow of electricity. Very good at what he does, but sometimes overrates himself.
He is his own worst enemy.
Oh, I think they're talking about rank. Oh, strength, intelligence. His intelligence is 7, eh? Speed, endurance. His rank is only 5. Courage is 8. Firepower 7. Skill 7. There we go. The footnote.
Yeah.
It's popularly believed that Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker's tech specs must have been
let's see.
Mixed up. Click here to read Starscream's adjusted tech specs. All right, let's have a look.
All right.
Oh, yeah. See, now he has like a rank of 9
and
endurance of 7. Yeah, so it's not too different. They just ranked him higher.
Yeah. Well, now I wonder Soundwave's tech specs. I'm trying to figure, like, one thing I have in mind between Soundwave, Starscream, and Shockwave. I want to see what Soundwave says.
Cries and screams are music to my ears. Function communications. It is said that Soundwave can hear a fly sneeze. Uses anything he hears for blackmail to advance his status. This is interesting. He wasn't like this at all in most media. An opportunist, despised by all other Decepticons. Sensors can detect even the lowest energy radio transmissions. Able to read minds by monitoring electrical brain impulses. Acts as radio link to others. Locates and identifies Autobots, then informs Decepticons. Carries a concussion blaster gun. Often the target of retaliation by his comrades. So this is way different than how he's been presented and everything.
Yes.
Maybe. No. Even then, it's mostly him being a loyalist rather than an opportunist in most media, right?
Yeah, because I was just thinking in terms of, like the bios for Starscream and Shockwave itself says like they want to take down Megatron. Where Soundwave was always kind of like that quiet, untrusted one. Whereas like even in the movie, it's like automatically, he's claiming to want to take over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe he just was like genre savvy enough to know that Starscream was never going to win, and he was better off being loyal to Megatron.
Yes. Let's see. Any Autobots that we can pick on?
We already did my 2 favorites, so that's a bit of a challenge. Oh, you know what I've always wanted to know? What is the difference between Huffer and Gears? Because they're both
right.
Personality-wise, they're both just like the short, complainy, grumpy guys.
Yep. Well, let's see. Actually, let's go with Gears first.
Gears. Function, transport and reconnaissance. Nobody wins a war, somebody loses. Gears is an antisocial, self-proclaimed misfit. Finds fault in everything and everyone. Acts this way to help cheer others up as they try to cheer him up. That's not how it works, bro.
Yeah.
Tremendous, tremendous strength and endurance. Totes heavy loads long distances. Launches to a height of 20 miles. Floats down on compressed air. Becomes an easy target due to limited maneuverability. Can detect infrared. Wow, he never used any of these powers on the show.
Not once.
But okay, so he's antisocial. He's a misfit. Complains a lot. Other people try to cheer him up, but it's a cover. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Firepower 1. Oof.
Well, let's see what Huffer's saying then.
Yeah. Huffer. Molecular structure is the key to success. All right. Huffer is cynical, hard-boiled, and pessimistic. He looks at the world through sludge-colored windshields. Will complain it can't be built, then builds it anyway. Not too sociable, but absolutely reliable. Arm sensors can test materials for strength, heat resistance, elasticity, etc. Extremely strong. Superior mathematical and geometrical abilities. Often unhappy and homesick from Cybertron. What's the difference? Okay, so Gears' thing is like it helps cheer other people up. He's just like, this guy's just like reliable but grumpy. I don't know. They've always seemed like the same guy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they have different abilities, but those didn't really factor too much into their appearances in media, so that's kind of a non-thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking, how is it? Who is it? Cliff Jumper.
Yeah, most of his personality is based on media appearances instead of the tech specs, I think. Strike first, strike fast, strike hard. Let me at him is Cliffjumper's motto. His eagerness and daring have no equal. He is driven by a desire to win the battle against the Decepticons. Finds Earth terrain a hindrance. One of the fastest Autobots. This is early.
Yes.
Often uses his speed to draw fire away from others. Shoots glass gas, which makes metal as brittle as glass. Yeah, we know about that. His recklessness often leads to actual blowouts in situations too dangerous for him to handle. Okay, so maybe I talked a bit too eagerly because he was portrayed as like the guy that wanted to fight, and it's interesting that he doesn't come with a weapon, but they always showed him using his glass gas thing.
Yeah.
So that was like baked into it from day one.
All right, let's jump to a Decepticon. I just say anyone in the comments if there's any tech specs that that you want us to speak on, let us know. You know what? Astro Train, since he's right there.
Astro Train, function military transport. In confusion, there is opportunity. Creating confusion is his specialty. As a triple changer, can switch from space shuttle to train to robot almost instantaneously. Thrives on foes' panic and fear. As a shuttle, travels at 20,000 miles per hour in orbit, up to 50,000 mph out of orbit. Long pause. Can launch weapons and satellites. Carries cargo. As a train, top speed is 400 mph, range is 1,700 miles. As a robot, has great strength, carries powerful ionic displacer rifle. This guy's bio is a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he likes confusion, and then he can do a bunch of stuff.
Well, same with his intelligence being 7. When he tried creating his Astro Force team, that really didn't display a 7 for his intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is weird.
Well, I mean, let's see what his counterpart Blitzwing is saying then.
Blitzwing. He's like a loudmouth bully. Destroy first, think later. Jesus, this is a one they love to repeat. Ground and Air
Yes.
Commander. ability as a triple changer to rapidly transform makes him one of the most dangerous Decepticons. Cruel sense of humor, loud-mouthed, belligerent, and brash. Flies at Mach 2.7, range 1,500 miles. Has heat-seeking concussion missiles as a plane. As a tank, has track-mounted cannon that fires explosive shells 3.5 miles. As a robot, has electron scimitar and gyroblaster rifle. Often gets stuck in mid-transformation. Huh, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen either.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, his
so
intelligence is 5, so that makes sense for him.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. I say it's 10 o'clock. Are we going to be doing our wrap up soonish?
I'd say possibly, because I know you can't go much longer.
Yeah, I'm dying over here.
Well, I say maybe one more, and then let us know what you have coming for the week.
Oh, let's do Galvatron because they tried to hide that he was the new Megatron because he was just a city commander, so the same as Ultra Magnus.
That's
My power
correct.
is everything. Defeat is absurd. Galvatron is a cold-hearted robotic villain, determined to lead the Decepticons. Possesses enough strength to pulverize an Autobot into scrap metal. Unconquerable, arrogant, and compassionless. Plots against his allies, thus weakening his position. In robot mode, he carries a laser that emits chemically produced direct current electricity. So this is interesting. They don't say that he's Megatron reborn. They say he's determined to leave the Decepticons, but they don't elaborate, which I guess would mean shooting Starscream. And then they say he plots against his allies, talking about, I guess, Unicron, where he's like, I'm going to make you serve me. But he makes things worse by doing that. So it's like not telling you anything about the movie, but like obliquely hinting at its story.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they just made a whole bio that was about not giving out film spoilers.
Well, I mean, let's then see Ultra Magnus.
Yeah. Ultra Magnus, also the city commander. Consistency is victory. God, that's a Ultra Magnus quote.
Yep.
Ultra Magnus is all soldier, most comfortable when carrying out Optimus Prime's orders. Wow, they got this guy on the nose from day one. Possesses magnificent fighting skills, courage, and a gift for battlefield improvisation. Uncomfortable in the mantle of leadership, but presents strong profile as a commander. Carries missile launchers capable of hitting a target 30 miles away. Resolute, fair, and courageous beyond reproach. Ever ready to sacrifice himself for the good of men and nature.
Yep.
That happened.
That did happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like when I remember when when Galvatron and Ultra Magnus came out, like they really sold it to us as like these separate characters that would still exist with Optimus and Megatron.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, and they specifically plugged them as rivals instead of Rodimus Prime. Yeah. It's interesting, this little sliver of time when they just didn't want to. They were obviously written with the film specifically in mind, but they kept not wanting to actually say anything that happened.
Right.
Yeah. All these like 86ers were like that.
I mean, I wonder, now that we know of the movie, like how would they go back and rewrite this if there was ever a plan to?
Yeah. Sorry, say that again.
Like now that they have, I mean, after like all these years, like I wonder if there'd be any, rewriting these bios, like now that we know, who Galvatron and Ultra Magnus are, now that they don't have to hide, like who their characters were in the movies.
Yeah, if they still did bio notes, I think the last time they did that was Fall of Cybertron or Thrilling 30. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like I remember because Titans Return Galvatron didn't have a bio,
Okay.
but the Universe 2.0 one did, and it like also obliquely hinted at the film story. But I think they were just doing it for fun because they were like, nobody knows where he came from, but he reunited the Decepticons,
Hmm.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they sort of had their own thing going with those bios. They were talking about it like it was a news story.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting future thing. I could find some choice later bios to bring up because I've talked about how like the Michael Bay toy lines used those bios to tell stories about what was happening in between the movies.
Got it.
They'd take like they're like Jazz came back to life because of the Allsparks blast when it was destroyed, and then Ratchet rebuilt him, and then he decided to adopt his G1 colors. Like every toy they put out would tell a little bit about why he was still around.
Right. I remember you were kind of mentioning that.
Yeah, pretty much like both the original characters and the new versions of characters that were getting upgrades or were supposed to be dead. They all came with bios that like advanced their stories and told a little bit of stuff like that.
Or a way to resell the toys once again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mhm.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, what reviews do you have coming out for Tuesday and Friday?
Yeah.
Usually Mondays, but this week it will be Tuesday.
Yeah, because I had this convention. Yes, the Amazon exclusive Battle Across Time set, which is Earth Mode Sideswipe. It's a retool of the Siege guy, and he looks very much like the Masterpiece now.
Okay.
And Beast Wars Skywarp, Beast Wars Maximal Skywarp. Who is
Okay.
he? Read my thing to find out. He is an obscure pull. They were obviously like, this is who the heck can we turn Air Razor into? Who can we
Right.
repaint her into? So put on a new head and turn him into a guy from Beast Wars the Second, who was originally a Magnaboss team member. Yeah.
Okay.
Real interesting set of characters, real cool ones. And I don't know after that. I got a lot of stuff I can talk about. I might do G2 Ramjet next Monday because I've been waiting on him for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
why
that's not a
not?
promise. I'll get to him eventually. I got a big pile of stuff that I can talk about because all my pre-orders dropped at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Actually, I might even just talk about Netflix Soundwave because like he's hard to come by. So I'm like, do a service and have a detailed photo and write up of this guy to see if he's worth tracking down.
mhm.
So I don't know. Figure it out as I go. See who I feel like talking about next, and
Yes.
then whatever comes out on Friday, I usually try to relate it to the new one on Monday some way. Like I looked at Red Alert on Friday because I was looking at this guy on Monday.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a surprise.
Yes. News and reviews from a talented Anthony on childrenofprimus.com.
I'm not talented right now, but I will be tomorrow.
After like the straight 48 hours of no sleep.
Oh yeah. I had no sleep till Brooklyn, and I've left Brooklyn. Well,
Nice.
that
Nice.
wasn't Brooklyn. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yep. All right. Well, on that note, let's see. We'll sign off for this week. The next week topic for sure will be Hot Rod to Rodimus Lino. From child to adult.
Oh, my favorite. Get to talk about that. Oh.
Yes.
Everybody should read my review of this guy. I went off on the character a little bit, so about how he doesn't get enough respect. Also, there's a really good figure. There's a lot of stuff in the box.
Yeah, and I know. In terms of not getting enough respect, there's one there's one idea that I think that I'll save until next week.
Ooh.
Why I think is a reason he didn't get enough respect, especially around that time of becoming Rodimus.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'd be interested to hear it. This is a character that I think a lot about. So
Cool. All right. Well, I think that will wrap up this evening. Again, I want to thank everyone who came by: TF Collect, Bill, Robert, and Calvin. We got like our old school crew going on every week.
Yeah. It's always nice to see familiar faces.
Yes. All right. Oh, and TF Collect said, love the Rodimus review.
Hey.
Great discussion today. Have a good night, gentlemen. Happy birthday, Fair Courage.
Oh,
yes.
Great. Yeah, it's nice to hear from you.
Yes, and happy rest of your birthday. So it's time to get some sleep.
Yeah, I just want to say his icon is the extremely long, weirdly named Power Rangers mech, the Ninja Mega Falcon Zord. And I was like, long name, cool design. Always loved that one.
Nice.
So, yeah, good choice. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And so until next week, everybody take care of yourselves. Everybody do the things that make you happy. Don't be a grump about it. Till all are one. Just enjoy yourselves.
Exactly. Life is too short to just be going around hating on each other for no reason, in a sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and then till all are one.
Till all are one. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yes. All right.